John Doe is an episode of The X-Files where John J. Doggett is so depressed he poisons an energy vampire. But first, the cold open. After the credits, our episode begins with Agent Doggett beaten, bloodied, and bruised with one shoe on. So, a good day for Doggett. And I love Doggett's attitude through all of this because Doggett says, alright, I wake up and I know what I don't have. I don't have my memory or any awareness of the person I was before I woke up in this small town. But I also know what I do have, and that is a shoe that this guy is stealing. Now, I don't condone violence in any form, but I gotta say, if I was having the day, week, year, decade that John Doggett is having in this episode, I would react in this similar way. So he chases the guy down, he gets his shoe back, and he lands in jail for it. So as he is in jail, we meet the best characters, not just in this episode, but in this series, and that is Domingo and Nestor. We meet Domingo first, and he's this guy who's in the prison as like a mole, trying to get these like interesting people out, and it's very clear what Domingo wants to do with John Doggett. So when his buddy, his roommate, totally not boyfriend, Nestor shows up, he gets Nestor to, quote, purchase Doggett. At this point, Domingo is making it very clear that he wants a threesome with his boyfriend Nestor and this hot-ass FBI agent. And it is so cute. John Doggett cannot get it through his adorable thick skull what this guy wants. And Domingo is so not subtle about any of this. So I always imagine Domingo being like, yes, I have purchased you. You are mine now. And then it just cuts back to Doggett, and he's like, so, do you want me to, like, fix your van? And then it cuts back to Domingo, and he's just, like, face-palming himself aggressively. So all of this would be fine and dandy if the green-eyed monster had not bitten our boy Nestor. So Domingo, Nestor, and Doggett are in this situation that many thruples end up with, where they're like, yes, a threesome, awesome. And then one partner is like, whoa, differences. So I want to say an amnesiac FBI agent and the two guys that want him to be their unicorn. I would watch a whole series about that. I would watch 12 seasons of that. It would be amazing. It would be like Perfect Strangers. It would be No Country for 3.5 Men. Thank you. You see what I did there? So they buy Doggett. Again, Doggett taking the best attitude I've ever seen. It's just like he wakes up, he doesn't have a memory or thought. Instead of crashing out, he's like, you know what I need to do? I need to get a job. And so he puts on his dad uniform and he goes to work at Domingo's garage. While Domingo and Nestor hatch plans to have a threesome with him. Meanwhile, Nestor on the slide is hatching plans to kill him. Nestor goes to the energy vampire that stole Doggett's memory, and the energy vampire says, like everyone in the town, he works for the cartels. And at this point I'm like, why? 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 Why does a vampire need to work for the cartels? Like, how powerful are these cartels? So anyway, the vampire's like, LOL, I'm a nigh omnipotent being, but there's nothing I can do about the cartels, so I won't care if you off this FBI agent. So Nestor goes back, and Doggett is fixing Domingo's van, just being the best boy in the world. And I just love how Doggett tries so hard to make friends with Nestor, and Nestor's having none of it. Nestor does the Disney villain thing where like he draws down on the hero while he's still on the ropes, and of course Doggett drops the van on Nestor's foot. This is one of the grisliest scenes in the X-Files, no joke, when Nestor pulls his bloodied foot, excuse me, when he pulls that bloodied foot out of his boot. Eat your heart out, Dr. Seuss. So, move over, Kendrick. Move over, Kendrick Lamar. So, he drops the van on Nestor, and Nestor is like looking around for Doggett, and he jumps out at him, and I just love how John Doggett and Fox Mulder share flying squirrel tendencies. That makes me happy. It's no wonder they're best buddies. So then, you might be wondering at this point, you might be saying, hey, raccoons, what is up with the fairer sex, the fairer part of the spooky squad, if you will? Well, let me tell you, they are working overtime to get their himbo back. So, we see Dana Scully in Washington talking to Kirsch with Skinner, and it's so funny. I'm like, Kirsch, you spent 7 months looking for this fucker Mulder, and the moment he learns Doggett is missing in Mexico, he's like, well, LOL, guess our hands are tied. So, of course, Scully and Skinner don't mind what he says, and Scully scurries off to San Antonio to meet Monica Reyes. And if you think Scully crashes out looking for her himbo, you just don't know Monica Reyes. So Monica has this, she talks with Scully, and Scully like tells her she needs to go, search and find her himbo with her heart. And I always want them to have like this little like Disney Channel dance or musical number where they're like, and this is how you find your himbo, and cry on him, but that would be awesome. So then they like have their little song and dance number, and then Scully's like, hey Monica, you're gonna need a backstory to like fool the cops. And I love that Scully went into Arcadia with like no plan for a backstory, none at all. And Monica has written fan fiction about her and Doggett's relationship, all 5 of their kids. She's like, yeah, we have 5 kids. Scully's like, oh well, you'll also need like an alias, and she's like, yes, I already have that all planned out. Like she already has it all planned out. So then she goes to Mexico, and she meets up with these shitty cops, and the nasty cops like make her pay her hard-earned pesos for a himbo that's not even hers. I always want her to like take him back and be like, no, this isn't it. This isn't my himbo. I'm sorry. It's like when they get your luggage confused at the airport. So Monica is guided through her himbo sense, her himbo radar, her himbo Doppler radar, to the barn where Doggett is doing his job. He's being a good boy. Also, at one point in the episode, Domingo brings Doggett a FBI wanted poster that fits his description for a man named Henry Brooke. And I always want Doggett to look Domingo dead in the eye, and he says, do I look like a Henry to you? Be honest now. So Monica is led to the barn by her himbo spidey sense, and you can have all your MSR moments. This is the hottest moment in the series right here. So like I don't know if I can even describe it without blushing, but you see Doggett, and he like sees the car drive up, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm prepared to die. And so he sees it the car drive up, and then he like gets the tire iron out, and he's like, you know what, F it, I'm gonna go out swinging. And then the most beautiful woman he's ever seen walks in the door. And he swings at her, and then there's this scene, and it's great, and Monica has thoughts she's never thought before. So and then throughout this episode, Doggett is getting flashes of his past, of his deceased son, and his wife. And I love every 5 seconds in this episode has to remind you that John Doggett can fucking get it. So every time he flashes back to these memories of his family, it's very bad for people with photosensitivity like me. I mean, because it always, like, I'm watching this on Hulu, and every time it cuts back to his past, I always feel like I'm being flung headfirst into a shitty medication commercial. You know, it's kind of like how in the X-Men movies, like Logan's memories of the Weapon X project was like only in Nine Inch Nails video style, and so John Doggett's memories are like only in shitty medication commercials of a streaming service. So the Mexican police surround the barn. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna count down," and they count down. And I'm always proud. Like, I can count down in Spanish too. Thanks, Dora. So then the police are like gonna burn them out, and then Daddy Skinner shows up at just the right moment to free his kids from the Mexican police. And he doesn't stop at McDonald's on the way home because they've been very bad. I'm just kidding. Of course they stop at McDonald's on the way home. And that's the end of the episode. Have a good one.